What's up guys, Pepper52Spicy here, how's everything going? Today I'm gonna talk to you about the interesting stance that Law has, which is not like any other stance in the game in my opinion, which is what he's pretty much built around. This is what separates him from Force Law is DSS, also known as Dragon Sign Stance, this thing. Now, the reason this stance is different from other stances is because unlike lay stances, which they're, very mix-ups, Law's stances are, Law's only stance, DSS, is the point is to either make things safe for combos or to create better pressure or to bait people to press buttons. For example, after Junkyard, this move is naturally like -8, so you can't do anything afterwards. If you perfect DSS though, yeah, like that, into a Smoky parry, you can actually be on plus frames after Junkyard. So if someone tries to retaliate after a blocked Junkyard, then they're gonna get eaten in the face by Smoky parry because this move is actually safe. Same thing goes for 4-3. 4-3 naturally is -14. DSS this move, and it is now like +6 or +8 or something like that. It's super plus frames basically. Now, if you do something like this, it's very, very quick. DSS transitions, they're very instantaneous. It's like off of wall standing 4 like that. See, not wall standing 4 naturally is like -7, -5, something like not very punishable, but negative frames nonetheless. But if you DSS it, you can get like really crazy, attacks off of it. Because naturally, this would just be like whatever, but if I DSS it, it's just, it's plus frames. And there's no really mix-up to DSS stance because there's not that many good moves in it. Like, when I mean not many good moves, I mean there's not many good mids, so there's no reason to really to duck in against DSS because there's no like threatening mids. Because the only good mids he has is like forward 1 and 3+4. I guess you could say that pretty much there's his only good mids from the stance. Forward 3, which is kind of good for combos, and back 3+4, which is not really that good because this launch control has no good tracking. There's forward 3+4 from DSS, but this move is kind of slow. It does have a low crush though, and it's combo and counter hit safe, but for DSS it's not that amazing, at least in my opinion. But what DSS lacks in mids, it makes up for in highs, which, while it would be nice to have really good mids from this stance, DSS has a large amount of really good highs. Like, he has a 4-2, which is neutral on hit, so you can do something afterwards. You could sidestep, you could, jab, you could low poke, whatever. Which is, it's the same thing as forward 2, it's just in a DSS stance, so you can do it from plus frames, that kind of thing. And he has like 1, which puts him into a kind of a pseudo 50-50 mix-up, because it's kind of seeable if you're really sharp. This forward 1 into 4, or forward 1 into forward 1, or just 1-1. It's just basically a mid versus a high mix-up, and if you do block the high, it's which is the legend kick. It's super plus frames, so you have a free mix-up since it puts you like straight up close and gives you like a lot of plus frames, like +7 or something. Or if they're near the wall, you can get this, and you could get a wall splat. They also has DSS 2, which is completely safe. It's not plus, but but it is a high that on counter hit, it is a launcher. Pretty strong one at that as well. So those are really good highs from DSS, like 4-2. Also, he has his 2-2 forward 2 string. Like it's 4-2, then neutral 2, then 1-2-2-2. He has that string in here, etc. It's very easy to keep up a lot of pressure with Law's offense by doing constant DSS transitions. Like constantly doing this and that, and then another one, and then this, and Junkyard, Smoky parry, and then 4. And, just constantly keep going into stuff until they're constantly trying to bait someone to press buttons so that, you know, they will get counter hit, because Law is the kind of character that does enjoy counter hits. Like, for example, you know, you do 4-3, DSS 4-2, and then do another 4-3, and if they try to press buttons after that 4-2, that was not a jab, because anything slower than 11 frames will get stuffed out by this 4-3, they'll get counter hit, and it'll get put into a launcher, etc. So DSS is very good for kind of for pressure kind of thing, and it works well against opponents who get frustrated and they want to press buttons basically. They want to start an offense and they're tired of being stuck on defense. Well, DSS is very good at getting that, because DSS stance transitions are really good in pressure situations, because they allow Law to attack with kind of like a custom stringing kind of thing, kind of like Hwarong, where he attacks with extremely fast velocity, if I just want to say that. I guess that's one thing you could say. He also has throws in it, like that, or you know, Swaki parries, armor moves, more throws, etc, etc. So, you know, like, DSS makes things safe, and it makes things comboable, and it makes certain moves plus, you know, it's just, overall, it's really good. It's not, like, I don't want to say, like, if you go someone in stance, like, unlike Lei, you go up someone's face, you Tiger, there's a mix-up. You go into someone's face and you do DSS, there's no mix-up here, you just block mid, because, I mean, the only low from it is this, and that's a 16 damage, kind of seeable low. So, there's nothing really to duck, except for against a legend kick. That's the only reason you want to duck against DSS, to avoid a legend kick. Now, I've just explained why DSS is a good stance. But let me explain, you know, why, how do you do DSS? Now, they don't really explain how to do DSS in this game. If you look at the command list, there's no, like, you know, DSS transition. There's, like, you can go Dragon Charge, right? They show you how to go into manual DSS, but they don't show you, with the exception of his 7th combo, which is at the end, it does tell you the secret to get into DSS, which is back forward. That's a hard combo. Anyways, but the point is, the way you get into DSS is, let me just turn on a command history, is to do back forward forward. So that's back forward and then another forward, and then you can just mash forward after that if you want to get like a forward move, or you just don't care about your transition, whatever. So, in between any move, there are very few moves, in any 2-string moves basically, any 2-hit moves, you can do DSS from. There are very few exceptions to this rule, like, for example, Law's back 4-3, you can't do DSS, Law's back 4-3 in general, you can't do that. Law's down 3-3, you can't do it, Law's down 4-3, you can't do it. Let's see, what else you can't do it from his down 4-1 or his down 4-4. You can't do it off Dragon Tail. You can't do it off back 3. But most of his moves you can, like back 1-2-2. The first and the second hit you can do DSS from. You do back forward, like you're seeing. Or you can do 1-2, any form of 1-2, like anything like that. 4-2-2-2 DSS. Back 2-2 DSS. Junkyard DSS. 4-3 DSS. 4-3-4 DSS. Can't do it off down 2-3. You can do a flip kick. For the up forward and the up and up back flip kicks, you just have to hold back to get into DSS. But for the up forward one, you do have to do manual back forward. What else can you do it off of? You can't do it off slide. You can do it off wall standing 4 and wall standing 3. Although doing it off of wall standing 3 is hard, and doing it off of wall standing 4 is also pretty hard. It's one of the rare occasions where doing it off of one move. You can do DSS off of a single hit move. Now, when one starts trying to learn DSS, which is, like I said, good for pressure, good for combos, good for making moves safe or making them advantageous on block, or getting people to bait them to press buttons, that kind of thing. When they first start to learn it, they might have trouble learning DSS because it's not the easiest thing in the world to learn. It does take a little bit of practice because the chain to do the back forward is a tight chain. It's a tight, there's a very precise timing for it. For example, if you just do back forward, you do this, which is DFS, Dragon Take Step. Now, there are very few uses for this. It's pretty much just like this, a back sway blow kind of thing, where you can bait someone to do a jab and then they'll miss, and then you do retaliate like that, or like, you know, something like that or something like that. I don't know, like another backswing blow into a backswing blow. So DFS is kind of like, you know, your kind of move that, I mean, kind of stance that just is to bait people to attack. The thing is about DFS is that DFS is inferior to DSS, in my opinion, because moves come out slower. For example, do forward 2, right? And that comes out instantly. Do DFS, takes forever for forward 2 to come out. So you don't really get the plus frames if you do just a single back forward forward. You have to go all the way. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, it's kind of just a timing thing. Like, the key to doing it is that, well, first of all, for fists, you don't need to do, there is no DFS with any move that requires fists. So you do one back forward, or one back forward, I think, just one back forward. No, two back forward. One back forward, and you'll immediately go into DSS. Thing is, with most of Law's fist moves, like in his punching attacks, they're not plus, except for 1-2. I think 1-2 is the only one where it's not unsafe, or like extremely negative. But doing off of back 2-2 is unsafe. Doing it off of forward 2-2 is like -9. So you know, they're not really that amazing off of his punches. Oh, you can't do it off of district either, or is 2-2. Anything that requires is 1-2 actually, except for forward 2-2. Yeah. This whole, like, you know, 1-2 and 4-2-2, like, connection, all that stuff, that's the only ones that are DSSable with punches except for back 1-2. You know, back 1, just do DSS right away. Back 1-2, DSS right away. But if for kicks, if you don't do a second forward, he does go into DFS. So you don't have to worry about DFS with punches, but since Law's best DSS moves are off his kicks, you do have to learn to do the proper DSS, which is, the trick is, you have to input the entire back forward motion in between the kicks and before they land. So between the second hit of challenge spin kicks, you have to hit back forward, pretty much. Or else you'll just get this. That is the timing to it. Let me see if I can show on hit analysis. Where is that? Hit analysis. You see, when Law flashes briefly for a second, that is the timing you're supposed to do it. Even easier for the third kick, in my opinion. etc. there. And that's pretty much how you do it. 4-3 is kind of an intermediate one to learn, but it's the one that I think gets used a lot, because 4-3 into a DSS move is very good, because it's a far-reaching attack that leads into a lot of plus frames for DSS. Junkyard is probably one of the easier ones to deal with, because the delay between the second kick and the third kick is so big. Oops, but I'm messing it up like an idiot. You can just see the command history, like the way when I'm doing back forward. I kind of just mash it out sometimes, but you just gotta do it at the right time. Make sure you start inputting DSS at the right time, pretty much. And there is, you know, you can, you know, if you practice this hard enough, you can get really fast DSSs, which very good, because the faster your DSS, the more plus frames you get, and the faster your moves come out. So if someone tries to retaliate, you have a better chance of catching them and getting a counter hit. You know, like with DSS neutral too. Not really neutral, but since just don't press any direction. That's one of the careful things of the DSS. When you're doing a transition and you want to do a move that's neutral, you have to stop pressing forward, or else you'll just get forward 2 like that. So if you want to do like DSS 2, you have to just do a perfect back forward motion and then do neutral and then do 2. Same with 1. If you want to do DSS 1 instead of the forward one. Ah, keep messing it up. Yeah, instead if you want that, you can do like a neutral. You have to do neutral and then do your one. If you want to do moves in DSS that don't require any directional input. You know, as long as they don't have a directional input version, that is. Like 4 doesn't have one, so you can just press 4 or whatever. Actually, no, it does have input version. That's Legend Kick. I lied. So that's and the harder ones is Wall Standing 3 and Wall Standing 4. Wall Standing 3 is the hardest in my opinion, and Wall Standing 4 is second to that. Wall Standing 3 is for some reason has a long delay before you can actually go into DSS. It's like a forced delay, which you can do this at the wall, where if you knock someone down and you like that, oops. Oh, he's gonna get Valkyrie breaked. Oops. Let me stop tech going to the right. Like that. See, that's like an easy version because I just did it as the first hit on the wall. But after, you can actually do this after a bound, doing Wall Standing 3 into forward 4-3 as part of a combo. But it's very hard because you input your DSS very quickly, something like that. Even quicker than that, almost. Your quickest DSSs will almost seem like they're part of one string. There are cases where if you counter hit, especially off of Wall Standing 4, and you do a DSS fast enough, you can actually make it into a natural combo. Well, I think more so if you can make it into a counter hit combo. You can't really make it into a natural combo, you make it into a counter hit combo. But it's very difficult. Something like that. You have to just do it extremely fast, though. Yeah, I can't do it, but it's possible. It's hard, though. It is hard. That's basically what it is. But I think I can do... I'm fast enough to do... that. Yeah, see it right there. On counter hit, with Wall Standing 4 into DSS forward 2 was a guaranteed combo. If you can trade hard enough, harder than me apparently, you can actually get a forward 1, so you can get a confirmed wall splat. It is very difficult though, and they say Law is an easy character, but you know, DSS is probably one of the more challenging execution things in the game, in my opinion. Not the most hard, not the most difficult by far, but it is still a difficult thing to master. For Wall Standing 4 and Wall Standing 3, the trick is you have to do the input, right? And the trick is to a, what calls it? The, blah, blah, blah. I just lost my train of thought. Anyways, the trick is to do the DSS motion, like with 4-3, do it before the kick actually lands. But because you only have one kick instead of 2 kicks, you have less time to do the DSS transition. You have less time to do back, forward, forward. So you would have to do back, forward, forward before the kick actually touches the opponent. Very difficult. It sounds difficult, but if you can look at my motions, that's basically the timing you want to go for on the command history. Just, you know, that's pretty much when you want to do it. Easy way to do it is if you, if you start at down back instead of just straight down or down forward, because you straight down back, as soon as you release the Wall Standing forward, you're already at back. Your thumb is already at back. This is on pad anyways. So your thumb is already on back, so you can already do back, and you need to start doing back, forward, forward right away. It's easier that way. Because the game doesn't really care if you did down back, it only cares if you did back, forward, forward. Nope, see, you do slip up from time to time, and that's why it's something to constantly practice and constantly practice. Yep, see, I messed it up there. Yep, it's just something to constantly, you know, get better at, and hopefully you can master it, because it is, in my opinion, it's very crucial to playing Law. It's not like you'll live without it, but you're missing out on a lot of Law's stuffs if you don't do the DSS transitions. Now, there is a bit of risk to these. I don't want to say that these are completely safe, because, for example, with 4-3, since a lot of people know that DSS moves are really good with highs, they will just try to duck. since they don't want to get counter hit by this, or they don't want to get put into additional pressure custom striking with 4-2. They don't want to get put into the 50-50 with 1. Oh. So they'll just duck, right? They'll eat this forward 1. As long as they're not near the wall, they'll take it. So they don't really care. But it is damage, and you know, this is completely safe, pretty much, this forward 1, because with the exception of a very far-reaching mid, forward 1 has extremely great pushback, and you're pretty much safe. It's even more pushback if you do 1 and then, oops, not that. 1 forward 1, because the pushback is even greater. And it's negative 14, it's not left punchable or anything like that. So unless they have a really far-reaching 14 frame Punisher, you'll be pretty much okay. So you have to be careful because people might randomly duck after a Shao's big kick, or they might duck the Shao's big kick itself, or they might duck after a junkyard, or you know, what have you. That's why you have to be either very smart when you do DSSs, or you have to do be very smart about, I mean, not very smart, but very fast with DSS transitions. DSS moves also don't have really great tracking, so I think, what is it, Law's weak side is his right side. So, you know, if someone steps to their right, well, Law's pretty much screwed there. I want to say he doesn't really have much to go on there. But he does have a homing move in DSS, it's just a really meh homing move, I want to say. It's very, I mean, it's high, and it covers all angles, it does a lot of damage, wall splats, breaks the wall and all that, but it's high and it's slow, basically. And once again, it's another high, so, you know, less moves in DSS to be worried about. And it's forward 3, but this launch punishable, which also DSS, you can also DSS out of it, ironically. And, which calls it? Well, you know, forward 4-3 is pretty safe in itself, to be honest. Except for, it's safe to being launch punished, but it's not safe to, like, negative 14 frame punishes, because, it has, like, a weird, kind of, like, a weird pushback. I don't know how to describe it. Oops. Yeah, it has pushback, so, and it moves Law's body backwards, like, it makes his hitbox weird, so, it's kind of safe. Kind of. But yeah, I think that's pretty much DSS for it, because one way to counter DSS is if you just do extremely fast moves against moves that you know DSS comes from. So if Law was doing a junkyard to me and I can DSS out of it, I could do a counter hit forward, since I'll just beat out whatever he does because I know his DSS won't be perfect. That just depends if it is perfect, you know, if it's a good DSS, it could even be beat up by fast moves, even if you do, like, you know, this, while sending forward DSS, and I try, like, a, a DSS 2, which I think is a 14 frame move, and let's say I didn't perfect DSS it, then he could just jab me, and I would get counter hit. Or if he had a counter hit, like, 4, he could counter it for me, because even though I tried my hardest to get this DSS out, it wasn't fast enough to beat his counter 4. So, you know, there is a bit of risk to doing this whole DSS, you know, pressure stuff, but you just have to be careful, and you have to watch your opponent's antics, see what their kind of defense against DSS is, and if they don't have a defense, like, you just let them, you know, like, you can just pressure them all day, then just keep going, but if they're smart, like, one thing I like to do against Laws that do Junkyard into DS moves, I like to down 2-3 them, because it's a 10 frame, 10-11 frame down jab into a counter hit. So, and if they light the DSS off the Junkyard, then this is going to be a guaranteed counter hit, and since it's ducking, it's already avoiding a lot of highs. See, that's like an anti-DSS strat. And if the opponent was doing that to me, I would be careful about using my DSS moves, or I would bait out their DSS retaliation. Like, if they started sidewalking after a 4-3 on block on DSS, I wouldn't go into DSS, and I would just do, like, a back 4. Or I would instead do a DSS 3, which is safe, even though it's high. But it's homing, so, you know, you can't sidestep that move at all. And these moves back to 2, there's not an immediate reason to use the DSS off of forward 2-2 or back 2-2 or anything like that. I do know if you do 1-2 DSS into Sabaki parry, you beat pretty much anything, except a move that hits really fast or that high crushes. That's the only thing that'll lose to. But yeah, that's DSS for you. Back forward, good for pressure, good for making moves safe. It doesn't really make anything that's punishable. Well, actually it does, kind of. There's only one exception. Okay, so, if you do a flip kick, right? A flip kick is, not punishable, but it has significant knockback, and it leaves you in full crouch, right? Naturally, a flip kick leaves you in full crouch. But if you do DSS, oops. Oh my god, stop doing neutral pop kicks. There we go. You do actually get up and do a stand back, and then you can do DSS moves from there. It's not plus or anything, but it's certainly better than just lying down on the floor like this. You could just do like a flip kick and then Sabaki parry, you know, if you think they're gonna retaliate or something like that. Or you do like, oops, forward 1, because, you know, if you do like a up flip kick, the knockback is crazy. And then you do like 1 or forward 1, or just forward 1 for whiff punish, or 2, you know, whatever you want. Which makes it safer, but not completely safe. It's safer, but just not completely safe. And it makes 4-3 safe. You'll always want to DSS out of 4-3. Even if you're not planning to do anything DSS, 4-3 by itself is -14, so you always want to DSS from that. Junkyard is already safe by itself. You just get plus frames if you DSS it. Same with wall standing 4. It's wall standing 4 is like -7 or whatever, because you just plus frames, really plus frames. You get a lot of plus frames in doing this one. Wall standing 3 automatically puts you in DFS without doing anything, and if you DSS it, you get a lot of plus frames. But once again, this is the hardest one to DSS out of perfectly. You know, especially in combos or something like that. And you have to note that the first hit is a high, so that is a risk. And it's slower than wall standing 4, which wall standing 4 is only 11 frames. So you can do some really fast stuff from doing like wall standing 4 to DSS. You do like wall standing 4, DSS 4-2, you know, and then another 4-3, and then throw, you know, like, you just keep the pressure. Like, Law's similar to Wulong in that aspect, where you can just keep up constant pressure when he's going on his offense. But like I said, there is a bit of risk to it, so, you know, take that as you will. We also do it from 4 up 3, which is his, you know, main pre-bound filler. But you're actually like neutral on block here or something like that. And it takes you into DFS as well, but you actually can still move. You don't need to DFS this. I mean, you don't need to DSS it. You can just DFS it because you're pretty much in the state already where you can freely move around. But I think that's all I have to say about DSS. It is a pressure kind of thing. It's good for combos because at the end of combos you can do this forward 4-3 and then dash up and do 4-3 forward 4 from 4-3 from DSS, and that's a lot of damage. It's tough, but it's a lot of damage. And you can do custom combos off DSS, like you do a junkyard 4-3. That's like your standard junkyard combo without going to a bound. Oops, that's a... Oop, okay. I didn't think that was gonna hit. Or you can do something like that, use it for a bound, or 1-2, DSS for Sabaki parry, or you could just delay DSS into a Sabaki parry, try to bait them into hitting you, or do 1, delay it, and then forward 1, because the DSS here is very, very active. Like, you can delay this extremely long. Like, look how long you can delay this. Boom. Super delay. You can bait them so hard to try to retaliate against you. Another cool trick is that forward 1, when you're at the wall, is really good, because if they mess up, they guess wrong here, they could get wall splatted, and if they just stand up because they don't want to get wall splatted, they could get put into hella plus frames with the wall, and then you could do like whatever you want to them. So that's a DSS mix up with the wall, but yeah, that's even at the wall. Actually, by the way, this is safe because it pushes Law back instead of instead of trying to push them back, it pushes Law back. But I think that is about it for DSS. I keep saying I think that's about it, but I just want to reiterate that's what DSS is mainly used for, which is mostly combos and pressure, making things safe, and plus frames. Which, as opposed to a mix-up, because like I said, there's not much of a mix-up here, it's just trying to bait people to press buttons. That kind of thing. In the event that people don't press buttons, you're just gonna have to find new ways to open people up, because like I said, DSS does not have any scary lows or scary mids, so there's not much of a thing you want to duck except for Legend Kick. That's like the only reason you want to duck against DSS. I mean, other than avoiding a lot of the highs from DSS. So, you know, there's not many scary mids, so people are willing to duck against DSS, so you can abuse that, throw in some hot kicks, or throw in some lows or something like that. You know, get creative, think about how your opponent's defending, and if they're just, you know, being very patient through all this DSS stuff, or they're ducking all the good highs, or they're ducking DSS transitions on reaction, or they're sidewalking DSS moves, transitions on reactions, then you just want to adjust your playstyle so that you can fix that around. And of course, you can always use the Sabaki parry, which is one of his best moves from DSS. Because this is like the only move, I think. This move, that move, and DSS 2 are the only move. Well, no, Legend Kick as well. Are the only like I don't know, the 1 and 4-1 series as well. But the unique moves from DSS, like Sabaki parry and DSS 2 and Legend Kick, all are really good. And of course 1-1, but I use that less so because people duck against DSS a lot when you go into higher levels of play. So you just want to be wary. This is also going to be a 13 frame Punisher, by the way, because this move comes out of 13 frames. So if you just do a really fast DSS on block, you can manual DSS this. You can use that as a Punisher for 13 frames if you want. Because you can break the wall if you do this. Oops, whatever. But you get my point. So, I think that's all I got to say about DSS. So, I guess that'll be it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. And I'm gonna sit here practicing my wall standing for DSS. And I will see you guys later. And if you like the video, comment, subscribe, you know, that kind of thing. Like, if you want to see more stuff like this, definitely subscribe, because this is pretty much what I do on my channel. So yeah, I will see you guys later.